So guys, in today's video, we're going to analyze how James Omotosho, in fact, almost fought Nnamdi Kanu's junior brother, being Prince Emmanuel Kanu, who went back to the court to actually tell Justice James Omotosho, look at what my brother, being Nnamdi Kanu, said, because Nnamdi Kanu, wants to file an appeal, telling the court, as a matter of fact, that they should return him from Sokoto prison to a close by this in Abuja there. And Justice James Omotosho, became, I don't know, but I'm going to show you what actually happened and how he confronted Nnamdi Kanu's junior brother that brought the appeal. Nnamdi Kanu's brother brought the appeal, saying, my brother said that he does not want to stay in Sokoto prison because of so many reasons, and filed that particular appeal before the court of Justice James Omotosho. And look at the response Justice James Omotosho gave to Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer. And it became so shocking, honestly speaking, with you guys. And the question is, why do you have a personal problem with Nnamdi Kanu and all that? Why? Because the judgment he gave was clearly based on anger, which is what a lot of people are saying. And even had to warn Nnamdi Kanu's brother, telling him, you're not a lawyer, don't come to my court to do this and that. Meanwhile, let me show you what happened. Nnamdi Kanu's brother, being Emmanuel Kanu, went to actually, file a motion to actually, bring Nnamdi Kanu from Sokoto facility to the Abuja, maybe Kuje prison in Abuja, so he can, easily file his appeal. Look at the reasons he gave to Justice James Omotosho when he met him in court that yesterday. He said, in the 8 grounds he raised, being Nnamdi Kanu, raised, which his brother submitted to James Omotosho yesterday, in support of the motion ex parte being marked so that Nnamdi Kanu stressed that he was on November 20th sentenced by the court after it found him guilty of the 7th count terrorism charges that the federal government preferred against him. So Nnamdi Kanu said that the court, after the sentence, ordered his detention in any correctional facility in the country except the Kuje Correctional Facility in Abuja. So he said on the 21st of November 2025, Nnamdi Kanu was transferred to and is currently detained at the Sokoto Correctional Facility, which is over 700 kilometers from Abuja, that the applicant, being Nnamdi Kanu, is currently unrepresented by counsel. Nnamdi Kanu, who is currently unrepresented by any counsel, intends to personally exercise his constitutional right of appeal against the conviction and sentence that he wants to personally himself, because it is his right, and he wants to personally file that particular appeal. This is what Nnamdi Kanu's brother delivered, the message he delivered to James Omotosho. We're going to see how James Omotosho responded to him and all that. Nnamdi Kanu's brother now gave him another reason why Kanu wants to be relocated from Sokoto Correctional Facility. He said that the preparation of the notice of appeal and the record of appeal requires the applicant's personal interface with the registry of this honorable court and the court of appeal in Abuja. That since Nnamdi Kanu, as a matter of fact, said he wants to personally file the appeal, that the registry will require Nnamdi Kanu's physical, presence and personal interface. So there's no way he would actually, do it if he's actually that far from Abuja. Remember, the day he was sent to Abuja, according to report, a private jet was actually used to convey him there. So Nnamdi Kanu said, all persons critical to assisting the applicant, and that is Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer gave why Nnamdi Kanu should be located. He said, all persons critical to assisting the applicant in preparing his appeal, including his relatives, associates, and legal consults, are all based in Abuja. That everybody that are going to help Nnamdi Kanu to, counsel him and all that, his lawyers and co, are all based in Abuja. And there's no way they will be going to Sokoto every day, 700 kilometers to, go and counsel, or probably for him to get legal counsel and all that. Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer said that the applicant's continued detention in Sokoto renders his constitutional right to appeal impracticable, occasioning exceptional hardship and potentially defeating the said right in violation of Section 36 of the Constitution of the land. Remember, Nnamdi Kanu has now less than 90 days to file his appeal, and time is counting. Nnamdi Kanu maintained that it will be in the interest of justice for him to be transferred to a facility near Abuja to enable him to effectively prosecute his case. Now let us see. Consequently, he prayed the court for an order to compel the federal government or the Nigerian Correctional Facility, being the prisons, to forthwith transfer him from the Sokoto Correctional Facility to a custodial facility within the jurisdiction of this honorable court, that is in Abuja. Now let us see what James Omotosho did when Nnamdi Kanu's brother presented these reasons and every other thing to him. Now they said, meanwhile, when the matter, this is where the problem started. Meanwhile, when the matter was called, Trial Justice, being James Omotosho, declined to grant audience to Kanu's brother, being Emmanuel, who announced his appearance on behalf of the leader. That Justice Omotosho told Kanu's brother that he could not move such application since he is not a lawyer. This is what James Omotosho said, that Nnamdi Kanu's brother, being Prince Emmanuel Kanu, cannot move such application because he is not a lawyer. He now said that this ex parte motion cannot be moved on the convict's behalf because you are not a legal practitioner, the trial judge Bin Omotosho said. He implored the applicant to engage. He told Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer that he should go and get a legal practitioner or approach the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria for legal representation since the law allows it. So he's just charged to Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer, Nnamdi Kanu's brother, telling him you're not a legal practitioner, so you don't even have right to raise the emotion on this case, that you should go and bring a lawyer or you go and get any lawyer you want, that you cannot, you're not allowed or permitted to move this particular motion. Omotosho went further to say that when I said, this is in the words of Justice James Omotosho, when I said the presentation, it is not his Nnamdi Kanu's father or brother or sister or relations I mean his counsel. I am not going to the merit of this application now in the interest of justice, but you cannot represent a human being when you are not a lawyer. You can only represent a corporate body. Therefore, this is James Omotosho speaking. Therefore, you cannot move the application because you are not a solicitor or advocate of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. This is what he was telling Prince Emmanuel Kanu. For you to be qualified as a lawyer, it will take you another 6 years or thereabout. So get a counsel to move the application, Justice James Omotosho said. You could see the tone and every other thing he's using. Taking the hint of the court, Emmanuel requested for a hearing date. When Justice James Omotosho confronted Prince Emmanuel Kanu, being Nnamdi Kanu's junior brother, he said, okay, Ayana, give us a hearing date for this particular matter so that we'll bring a lawyer then. So before he adjourned the motion till December 8th, Justice Omotosho cautioned, remember, see where the problems, the tone and the caution he's always giving, that before he adjourned the motion till December 8th, Justice Omotosho cautioned against what he described as attempt to mislead the public on Kanu's case. He observed that one of Kanu's former legal representatives, Mr. Loye Jimako, who later became his consultant, insinuated that Kanu could not compile his record of appeal owing to where he is currently kept. He says Justice Omotosho held contrary to Ejimako's claim that the convict does not need to be in court for the record to be compiled. James Omotosho is saying that Nnamdi Kanu does not need to be present in Abuja to compile his record before, you have to compile a record before you file an appeal, that his lawyers can do it on his behalf. But, the question is, Nnamdi Kanu said, I want to personally do this. This is his fundamental right. And James Omotosho is saying, even though I know that this is his fundamental right, his lawyers can still do it on his behalf. It makes no sense. Since he said, I want to do this, he has a right to actually, file his appeal. And he has a right to, do all these things personally by himself. This is what Nnamdi Kanu is saying. I want to personally do these things by myself, the same way I personally defended myself. So Justice James Omotosho now told Nnamdi Kanu's brother, saying, let me advise generally so that you don't delay the process. The issue of appeal, I must not pretend that I'm not part of society. Mr. Ejimako granted an interview talking about the deprivation of the defendant Kanu to compile his record. That is erroneous opinion. That Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer was actually lying, and he made an error by saying that Omotosho now went further to say that the defendant may not be in court to compile a record. His attendance is not required, though the appearance of his representatives may be required. The rights of a defendant are different from the rights of a convict, Omotosho added. He was saying that even though the Constitution allows a convicted person to be around when his file is being recorded and all that his representatives and lawyers can actually do it for him, that he should know that Nnamdi Kanu is now a convicted person and is no longer a defendant as he stands now. So his rights are being, probably he does not have the right to do this and that. And this is where we've gotten to. You could see that Justice James Omotosho is actually giving that judgment, and the tone he's using is just a tone of anger, the same tone he used when he was giving that judgment and all that. And it makes no sense. It absolutely and practically makes no sense. So he consequently fixed 8th of December, being on Monday, to officially hear this particular matter to see if he can bring Nnamdi Kanu back to Abuja for him to, start the process of filing his appeal and all that, with respect to the distance and all that. We'll see how things unfold. If this is the first time I come across my video, do go to subscribe and equally click on the notification bell so I get notified whenever I drop important videos and political updates like. So we are going to see if James Omotosho is going to grant this particular application that was filed by Nnamdi Kanu and that they should actually transfer him from Sokoto Correctional Facility and all that. Well, from the reports we are getting, they said in Sokoto Correctional Facility, Nnamdi Kanu is now more popular than anybody. But that is not a good thing. Actually, a prison is a prison because he's not meant to be there, which is what a lot of people are actually saying. So we are going to see how things will definitely unfold. Please, if this is your first time on coming across my videos, it will cost you nothing to tap on the subscribe button and click on the notification bell, so I get notified whenever I drop important, videos and political updates like this about Nnamdi Kanu's case and what's actually going on. Do you think, drop your comments, do you think Justice James Omotosho will grant this particular motion and allow Nnamdi Kanu to be relocated from, the Abuja, from the Sokoto Correctional Facility to the Abuja Correctional Facility? Well, we are going to see how things unfold, but from the body language, James Omotosho is still having a personal beef, and this is not how a lawyer or a judge should actually behave. Personally, you should not showcase your bias or probably your anger towards someone. It absolutely makes no sense. See you guys later in my next video.